the convergence of creativity and compliance, AI's role in shaping campaigns. We would like to begin by inviting the session chairperson, Mr. Manas Gulati, who is the co-founder and CEO of ARM Worldwide. Moving towards the next gentleman, put your hands together for Mr. Alok Agarwal, Chief Marketing Officer, Orientbell Tiles. Let's welcome Dr. Ashish Bajaj, Group Chief Marketing Officer from Narayana Health. Let's welcome Ms. Neelima Burra, Chief Strategy Transformation and Marketing Officer from Luminous Power Technologies. Next, let's welcome Nimish Agrawal, Executive Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer from Niva Bupa Health Insurance. Mr. Sachin Vashish, Chief Marketing Officer from Paisa Bazaar. Let's give a huge round of applause for the gentleman. And last but not the least, let's welcome Snehal Gautam, who is the Chief Growth and Marketing Officer from Housing.com and PropTiger.com.
So what we've seen is recently there's a lot of talk about AI and I was looking at some data as well as to the industry. I was looking at the AI influencer industry in India. It is touted to be at close to 1,660 crores by 2030. So it is increasing as and when we are talking about. Also, there's like a consecutive growth of close to 50%, which is happening in this segment. And we all have been listening about a lot of case studies, of different players using it actively. And it varies from category to category as well. So my first question to everybody is that, how have we tried to imbibe the change which has happened, in terms of creation, also the use of data, at a larger level in each of your industries? I'd like to have like a quick one, like from each one of you, like quick thoughts on that, and then we'll get on to the discussion later.
Okay. We use it for insights. It supplements human insights, of course, for creatives, for ideation, of course, execution. So throughout the chain, literally.
So I'll keep it different from what Alok just said. We use it more for our clinical research, diagnostics, and it's about supporting the way, basically creating a hybrid structure in terms of settling it up for us. And rather than just answering on the marketing, I think just to bring in a different perspective, it works really well.
So it basically helps you make a more informed judgment like that.
In the energy sector, there is a lot of usage of AI because the complete energy management, which is happening through grid, and then how you're consuming, what's the way your predictive modeling around that is done. That's like one of the big usage of it. We also use for customer support and feedback, wherein we have chatbots and generative AI used for actually suggesting which is the best model to buy or what kind of best load which you can look for what kind of model. Now that's very important because a lot of time these are very technical solutions. So generative AI actually helps build that algorithm and is able to suggest a lot of good answers there to the consumer. Of course, we use it for consumer behavior and content creation as everyone does.
We use it to tell each other that there's one more thing that we don't know enough of.
It doesn't work.
And this takes about, if the board meeting is about 30 minutes, 25 minutes is about, oh, we don't know this company is doing this. Yeah. So we use it to tell us that world is changing very fast and we'll become dinosaurs very soon if we don't know enough of this space.
Sure.
In our company, we try to use it for multiple use cases, be it the use cases of marketing, like propensity modeling for cross-selling, for content translation in different languages, or creative optimization, media planning. In our operations, we are trying to use it as an agent co-pilot now. We are doing small experiments there because we have a large agent force, people who help out, consumers who are seeking credit. We are also using, so basically, generative AI, we have just started experimenting with, but machine learning, because we are a digital first company, we, realize the importance of data very early in our journey, and we since then started harnessing the power of data and using it, using ML to create different models. I'll give you an example. Even in portfolio management and offer analytics, also we use machine learning, which now you can call AI.
So for us, I think AI is still a work in progress for us as a team. Even AI itself is evolving every week as we speak. Our use cases are again very similar, which is creative optimizations. Now we have micro segments. We can create macro segments. We can create creatives for those micro segments on the fly. So that's interesting one. The other piece is again what Sachin was talking about is machine learning. If we know the preference that you have certain liking to BHK, price, location. So once you come back to the platform, you will find properties as per your preference. So that's something that we do. Chatbot again is something that we are trying. We are also trying to enhance the pictures. Someone who has taken photo of an apartment from iPhone versus someone who has taken from iPhone. There are sometimes differences. We are trying to make it a level playing field, at least from the consumer point of view. That's an interesting use case.
I'm sure the fiasco which happened on Uber would have something to do with AI sometime. What they were doing was that, on an iPhone, the rates were different from something which was there on the Android phone. So maybe it needs to be monitored a little bit better, and probably that's where we'll be able to achieve certain efficiencies sometimes.
It's coming to the center now, but this has been happening at least from 2016, 2017. The rates on your Androids with your budget phones or your iOS rates, whether it is e-com, transportation, or even your flights, hospitality, was always a difference.
Sure. So, great. So, three of you are from the finance sector, insurance sector also, where data plays a very, very big role in conducting what we are conducting. And, AI involves also a lot of feedback being given back to the ecosystem. So is that like a deterrent many a times to use something, like an AI enablement and enablement otherwise? Also, from a point of view of native AI tools, like, on Google and on Meta also, they don't go the N mile always. They go to a mile where they can give probably a lead, which is the feedback into the system is not overall involved into it. Have you looked at it, and how are we catering with it, and what are the deterrents to use AI so much, like, from that standpoint?
See, you cannot talk about insurance without talking about compliance, right? And that's also the topic. So, one of the things that is very important is that, especially in health insurance, you have 2-3 regulatory bodies. One is, of course, the regulator in the insurance. Then, because we've got recently listed, we've got SEBI. And there's this entire conversation which is happening around Data Protection Act, etc., and consent manager. The model will work on grounding of data, which is based on user context. And that's something, and most of the AI companies that today work, they want to store the data outside the company server or cloud. Now that becomes a big risk. So essentially, while being compliant to all the norms that exist, there are 3 important use cases that we are trying. One is, how can we serve our existing policy holders better? We know the claim history of the customer. We know that the customer has taken a claim for a health condition. We are building in-house AI models. At the time of renewal, what is the rider or what is the safeguard that we want to suggest to him? Because it's complicated, it's important to simplify. Hypothetically, there's a customer who's got a certain blood test report done, and there are few anomalies. It's important that he's protected adequately. So that's one use case. The second use case in the marketing department is about doing personalization at scale. So for example, Mondelez did the entire dynamic creative optimization. We looked at that example and we said, we have 16 million customers and they spread across these pin codes. And in these pin codes, we've got these hospitals. And this is the customer in this pin code who's taken a claim from Niva Bupa. And this is one project that we are very passionate about. And the third use case, which Sachin also talked about, is around enablement of the telesales. How can we give enough impetus to them? So a lot of time, the consumer asks the telesales guy, which the telesales guy could be the 5th day in the organization. There's a lot of attrition in that cohort. Now the consumer is asking a question which is very critical to a specific health condition. How do we ensure that he has prompts, and on those prompts, the entire literature and summary comes out so that he can give a very, very educated answer? We are very, very concerned about the mis-selling in this industry. So it is important to not let it for people's expertise to kind of take a certain curve, but make it a leveler for everybody. So these are the 3 important use cases while staying compliant with all that I just said.
Yeah, so, while implementing AI for any use case, the roots are in data. How much data do you have and how relevant it is. So basically it's like, utilizing consumers' data to serve them better. Now, when it comes to compliance, there are 3 areas, where you can have challenges. So first would be the collection of data. How are you collecting that data? Are you transparent enough? Do people know that my data is being collected, and for what purpose? Are you conveying it in the right manner, at the right place, right? Are they aware that these are the data points which I am giving to this organization and how these data points will be used? The second area would be the handling of data, where this data will be stored. And all aggregators, be it IRDAI or RBI, they are working very hard to make sure that consumer data is protected, and they're trying that it should be localized. It should not go, at least not go outside the country. They are working very hard, and they are making us also work very hard for that. So that's the another area. The third area is the communication. What are you communicating? So in case of an insurance or a loan, because financial products are a little complex, largely people do not understand them at one go. You have to explain it, right? So the kind of communication you are doing through AI, AI has this problem of hallucinations, right? Apart from that, if the data is not processed correctly, if the ring fencing is not done right, AI can, build some biases. So you have to avoid that. So how are you making sure that your models are avoiding all these traps, while creating communication plan for your consumers? So if you are doing these 3 things right, I believe that it'll take care of the compliance. Now, when it comes to use cases where we are using it, the most important one is, in our industry, if 100 people apply for a loan, chances are most of them will not get it because of certain factors. It could be credit factors or your employment factors or the place where you live. Now, when they come to an aggregation platform like us, where they have multiple choices, the first reaction is to choose the option where they have a lowest interest rate, because people want to pay lowest EMI. That option may not be right for you. We have seen it in the past. Now, we wanted to improve their chances of approval. We wanted to present them the best option, as per their profile. And there were earlier we used to call it machine learning, now we call it AI, but that's where we're using it. We are trying to, because, we work with all the partners, banks, NBFCs and all, and their underwriting models are their property. They're not exposed to us. So we don't know how they're approving or rejecting a loan. What we can do is we can try to reverse engineer it basis the data we are collecting, basis the data we are giving, and try to come close so that, we give better options to our consumers. The second thing is, like he mentioned, that in both our industries, agent is a big part of the sales cycle. When an inquiry comes, either through a portal or through an app or through offline, it straight goes to the contact center, and by agent would then contact these consumers and try to explain the product first. right? Most of the time, the first part of conversation is very basic because they are just trying to, explain the features of the product, how it's beneficial to have that product, etc., etc., etc. And then comes the cross-questioning and the consumer doubts. We realize that that part of the conversation, if we just replace that part of the conversation and give it to AI, we can improve efficiency and save a large chunk of cost. So that's what, because, and it's part of the normal funnel. If 100 people start the conversation, few drop in the very first stage when you explain them the product, right? So now we, in few of our products, the first part of the conversation is being handled by an AI agent. That AI agent is asking all the screening questions. Consumer would not know because the tonality and the language is, we have tried to localize it a bit with, the same tinge of dialect. But the screening questions, the first round of explanation and etc., everything is being done by the AI in those areas. And if that AI sees some bit of interest in consumer, then the hot call transfer happens and the real agent comes in. So that's what we are trying to do it, we are hoping that this part of the sales and the service piece, we'll be able to, automate.
But do you personally think that there might be dropouts because it's AI calling or something of that sort?
So
and
currently,
I'm sure that it's better ROI-wise, but from an experience standpoint.
So currently, that's what we are trying to do is, we are trying to, so it's not a robotic call. It's like a human call only. So it'll start like, hey, I am Sachin, I'm calling from paisabazar.com. You showed interest in this product of ours. Are you looking for a loan, etc., etc. So in most cases, people would not feel the difference that it's an AI call. That's what we are trying. Let's see how
you're trying
it goes.
to come
So
as close as possible.
As close as possible
calling.
to the human calling. Yeah.
Therefore,
and the bot will speak in English and Hindi as well as English. So it's not like an automated, machine language call.
It is receptive to automated feedbacks
Yes,
and then
yes, yes.
changing it.
Yes.
Ashish.
That came as a bouncer for me. Yeah, sorry.
Where are we using AI in the entire marketing landscape, for yourself?
So marketing landscape, I think both of them already covered the contact center piece, because that becomes an important part for us as well. And apart from that, for marketing, yes, everyone is doing for content, till what time you can, when the algo changes, when the drop comes. We are still to figure out those things, but we all are using it. So I think it's become a norm. It's not like that you're going to come here and show off, oh, yeah, I'm doing it.
So okay, I'll just change some sort of questions also. I want to know that is it adding any amount of efficiency to the, say, for instance in creatives you're using AI creatives or a feedback mechanism which is hyper personalized basis data and everything. Has it from a tangible standpoint, has it added any value in terms of your CTRs and conversion rates, getting people onto the page, overall?
Yes.
So we can start with the...
Yes, it has. In our case, I think this whole enhancement of the photos, that led to significant increase, not significant, but increase in overall user engagement on the platform. People who were not looking at the photos, yeah, photo mein kuch nahi hai, it's very bad in terms of quality. Now people started to engage with those listings and the inquiries happened, the sales happened and all that. So that's a great win for us. Overall, what we have seen is slowly and gradually, in general, it's still very difficult to find your home because you have lots of money, but again, you are confused where to buy, right? And I think that problem, whatever platforms exist today, you have lots of filters that you have to put, but still, you are always in need of more filters. I think that thing can be solved through AI. That's what we feel on the real estate side. And that is leading somewhat into improvement in conversion overall for us. So our conversion rate is, I won't say drastically high than what it was, but it is better compared to what we had seen earlier.
Once in my experience, I've seen a reasonable amount of efficiency, unfortunately, in the non-marketing use cases. So, our industry is such that the claim settlement ratio is about 90% for the industry, give or take few percentages. And 10% are the claims that don't get settled. About 5% of them are abuse and fraud. And if you were to look at the industry, the overall claim number was close to about 1 lakh crore. Now, 5% of that is humongous. And it's public money. People say that, insurance cost is rising. We are trying very hard to stop these elements to take away the money which belongs to public. Now, we've put in some predictive analytics model, and the hit rate is about 48%, which means if the model throws up a flag and says that this looks like a fraud, you will get 50% hit rate, which means 1 out of 2 people are doing a fraud. Interesting use cases, right? You have husband, wife admitted in the same hospital in a place in Gujarat. They have exact parameters on blood report, which has got 17 rows. It's like a Janam Kundali of husband and wife, right? So the point is, that's one place where it has reasonably saved money. The second place where AI seems to be working very well is in terms of building, I think Sachin also alluded to it, in terms of building propensity modeling. In our business, 99.3% consumer wants to speak to a human. Not AI, but human, right? Human. Not Sachin with AI, but Sachin like Sachin in blood and flesh. Now, what happens is the time of this guy is actually the real estate. If I send flirtatious window shoppers to him, he wastes time. So what we do is, we do a lot of propensity work where we look at a lot of attributes of the customer, the number of times he's come on the website, number of fields that he has input, the amount of time he spent on our website, etc. And that all goes into propensity modeling. Now our ability to have quality conversation with people who are actually looking to buy is essentially what has given us a lot of telecalling efficiency. For people who are not looking to buy, we send them to Policy Bazaar.
Yeah. We find AI very useful in crunching massive amounts of data and making things simpler. So I'll just give you an explanation. जो डीलर होता है उसके पास 200 tiles होते हैं. He can't figure out कि with that wooden tile, which tile can he combine? He doesn't even know the stocks he has because godown में पड़े हुए हैं, and it's humanly impossible to create something which any one of you likes in 5 seconds. Now, so AI would help him do that. So he has an app where he can speak, and we would just help him convert, saying that, okay, you want a tile that goes with this and put something on the floor? No problem. We will look at his purchase history. We will know what normally gets successful, and we will recommend him something. Now, so that really influences conversion. This is, very frontline to imagine a hardware dealer, because most of you wouldn't have been to a tile shop. So think of somebody as low tech and low digitally educated as that. Yeah. Within the marketing team, it's much more powerful, because we use Notebook LM to educate people on different products. It is the mode of communication and not anything else. It is by far the best mode you can quiz. Then, of course, the rest, and data analytics, it's a breeze. Yeah, I mean, I cannot do my data analytics without AI now. It's fast, and it makes us do things that we couldn't have done. So, I want to know, okay, this belongs to which brand, this belongs to which brand. I would have taken 2 hours to finish that Excel sheet. AI does it in like 5 minutes. So data analytics, wow.
The best, while I was remembering something which is very silly. Earlier, when we used to write emails to sales, they used to take a lot of time to respond because crafting that reply used to be very complicated. Today, you send them an email, within 5 minutes, you get the reply back.
Without even changing the font.
So, I mean, I think communication has definitely improved. Immaterial of marketing, no marketing. It has definitely become better. But I can discuss about couple of use cases which you see, really see them not quantifiable, but very qualitative, better. So having handled strategy functions, report and analysis used to be a time-taking procedure because you have to analyze multiple financial reports and growth and then look at industry and then come back and say, when will you present a strategy? It's a long process, right? Today, with AI, I think that search and research has become far more easier to compile and understand. Of course, you still need to do some validation, but it has shortened the process completely towards that. Presentation making, I have seen go leaps and bounds. The way the expressions in presentations, creatives, I think copy has become far more interesting. And I'm talking about programmatic, where I'm seeing the biggest impact of both creative and copy coming together to make real personalized impact. In my day-to-day life, I also see energy and where is the power cut and where you need to sell what used to be a big complication. Somewhere it's 2-hour power cut, somewhere it's 10-hour power cut, and the products vary. So that kind of propensity modeling and predictive pricing, which is dynamic pricing with it, is one of the biggest far-fetched used I have seen with e-commerce. So that's some of the real use cases, which as humans we would have taken long to really analyze and yet not reach that accuracy, which we can discuss today.
So, being the smarter lots, I think one thing on the lighter note, that it will allow us to fail faster because your TATs have reduced.
So in terms of efficiencies, you can have varied copies, varied creatives, testing it out on the A/B testing and everything, and then arrive at a communication which might be best for your ecosystem as well. So we're running short of time also. So what we'll do now is that we'll just ask you, what do you think is future, like one of the trends which you are very gung-ho about and which looks to be the future of AI and is adaptable as well. We'll have 1 minute each from everyone.
Sorry, I didn't get the last part.
One AI trend which you're very gung-ho about, like you think that, it has a place in the future and would really, shift the marketing landscape and the overall landscape as well.
So see, from overall landscape point of view, I think I was reading about this ChatGPT's OpenAI's operator, which they have launched, which is basically the agent that does work for you. Book your tickets, book your flight tickets, book your holiday, hotels, etc. Everything. And I know it's very early, but my view is this can be a great game changer for all of us from a consumer point of view. So that's something I'm looking forward to. And again, that same operator, if you use it in real estate, and as Alok was talking about in his business, where the matching can happen from AI perspective, I think it can be a game changer from the sector perspective as well.
So I believe, the amount of developments happening in the AI field, in coming times, AI will become a commodity. Right? It will be available to each and everyone, all models, all features, everything, and it will depend on your organization how you use it. Now, each organization has a wish list that if I had unlimited resources and if I could hire unlimited people, this is what I'll do. So, for example, in our contact centers, quality is is a function where we want to put more and more people because we want to track each and every call. Before AI era, quality team, they used to sample calls and flag calls if they find something, and then they go deeper in that particular agent or that particular team. Now, and this experiment we started around a year back. Now, an AI bot is monitoring all the calls at, every time throughout the day, and currently they are not doing anything except flagging the calls. That this is where the disposition is marked incorrectly, this is where the tone was not right, etc., etc. Similarly, when it comes to content, as a marketer, I wanted to hire as many content writers as I can in different languages. so that I can create, because financial industry, be it insurance or lending or investments, the scope of creating content is huge, all form of content, right? But the resources are limited. So you can hire a limited number of people who would generate content for you. Now with AI, you can multiply it with X, or maybe hundreds or thousands, and create different form of content. Currently, we are not there that we can just ship the content as it is. We have to scrutinize it. So that's where the bottleneck is. But I believe that bottleneck will go away sooner or later. Next, in analytics, in modeling. So our bread and butter is, is analytics. So just to give you the perspective, roughly 60%, 55-60% of our revenue comes from our own data through cross-selling. Right? We were the first one in this country to launch free credit score, and yesterday we completed 50 million credit score customers who come to our platform and check their credit report. Now this is the data where we try to sell different products, because we do not have a fixed cycle. I believe analytics will become simpler and more efficient.
Sure. Nimish?
I think under 1 minute, right?
Yeah, 1 minute.
Okay, so two things. One is, I think AI is going to be a big leveler, and I'm talking about from the insurance context, right? If India were to be a 10 trillion economy, and the vision of the Prime Minister's office and the regulator is insurance for all, India needs a lot of people talking about health insurance. What AI does, it allows the 10 lakh agents in the country to create their digital campaigns. They don't need an arm. They can do it on their own, Manas. So this is what AI will be able to do. It will create creators. It will create people who know how to launch a campaign, build interesting copies in their language. Today they're dependent. A lot of people don't use digital beyond checking their WhatsApp and Insta Reels for commerce is because they don't know where to start. That's one big change. We're going to become a creator economy. Sure. Second thing, which I'm afraid and excited, it will create a level playing field for Google search. Google search is the default option. People have more avenues to look for information. They don't want to click on 50 pages. They just need a summary.
Sure. But I think, the scenario which you mentioned about is more to do with a more democratized environment, not like monopolies like Google and Facebook employable in it, because they also have their own, targets to meet. Let's put it like that.
That's great.
Yeah, ma'am.
I think going forward, AI is the way of life. While it may become commodity, or it may become, very mass in the democratized way. But to me, this is going to continue to be, and it's the way of life wherein you have to know what you want to best do with it. While we can, debate, it may be a bubble, it may not last long. What about humanizing? All these things are ways to build more sense around it, but it's going to continue. The trend which I am really excited about it is the generative AI bit. The ability to create this algorithm and create more behavior, pattern, and programs and analytics, and further give more suggestions is huge. You don't know to what level this can generate itself. And that's something which really excites me, also keeps me anxious, that what all it can do to data which we are feeding every day, to the analytics which we are doing, and what all can be predictive, but what all can be further utilized towards efficiency enhancement. I think we are just scratching the surface with the usage. Right now, we are just playing or flirting with it. I don't think we are really using it. Sure. But the co-creating model which I saw, I think that's fabulous. To co-create with it and then create more solutions around it is going to further rule about creative economy.
I think already a lot has been said. Personally, yes, Copilot is my new best friend. And from a marketing point of view, I think any technology changes, or let's say at the time when there was pen and paper, it used to assist somebody to make a sale from your .com worlds, from your beloved Excel, and now this. So I'm taking it from that point of view. If it's going to assist me to make a service better, embrace it.
For me, what I'm worried about in AI is the current industry leaders are also owning the AI leadership. And so the chances of disruption are lower. So happy for DeepSeek, but otherwise I would have loved to have people other than Google and Meta leading the field.
Great, great, great answers. I'll open it up to questions as well now.
We heard two things. We heard about AI becoming commoditized, and we also hear that how AI is being used extensively to analyze data, etc. One of the concerns that I feel is that with OpenAI, if you're using it to analyze a lot of internal data, is there any concern in terms of the security of the data as well? So I want to understand views about that.
There is a concern on the data which you're feeding there, and that's where I think that data ethics and how you're actually managing that is very critical. But then there are tools which is paid versions, subscribed version, where those problems are also taken care of. So, but again, I'll give you one example of my own organization. Everyone wants to use AI. It's available on your phone, on your laptop. Subscribe, not subscribe, doesn't matter. It's a big risk to the data, the organization where there is huge data and data privacy. There is a lot of education which goes around it, but look, you can do that, but you can't stop it. What you can do is build more knowledge, education, and awareness. Beyond that, I think it's more about the conscious and ethics which has to prevail, and the policies of the organization to guide rail around it.
I'll just quickly add on. There's a circular from Finance Ministry day before yesterday to the BFSI organization to stop using AI and AI tools in any office laptop mobile phone because of sensitivity of data. I'm pretty sure in 6 months we'll have a lot of regulatory oversight, because whether it is free or paid, the data is going into cloud, and how will it be used, etc., is not very clear right now. And hence we spoke about building AI solutions in-house rather than exposing it to a third party, because that is depending upon what sensitivity of material you are carrying, it could be a big dampener.
Yeah, so just wanted to add, if you are using your data to, in sync with an AI tool, your data is going there. But there are ways so that you can de-link the PII from the other information. You need other information to train the model, the AI model. If you can, on the fly, link it with the PII with an encryption key, and you can do it locally, I think you can figure out a way.
Sure. Great. Any more questions, please?
Neelima, you mentioned about how technology is evolving, and of course, people will be able to automate. The one question comes is that the talent we all see, the key element, do you think that with all these technical tools coming, I'm using the word technical because every day there is a new thing which is coming, do you think that the talent which currently we have, will it be able to get that before the technology takes over? And broadly from a perspective that how will this affect the creativity and ethical standards? Because if machine is taking more shape and the talent is still evolving, by the time we start learning on something, a DeepSeek will come. By the time DeepSeek or other will come. In terms of that, then whether the ethical aspect of it, will that be a challenge? And we are seeing what's happening. I mean, minus what the furor which is happening on the content creation side. So will AI start affecting the content because the creativity part and the ethical part gets challenged?
That's a great question. And some of the people, because this is generation question, and in every organization there is debate right now, wherein Gen X will feel why they are excluded from a lot of this usage. A lot of training programs has to go to just bring the Gen X up to speed. Right? I fall in Gen X, so I can safely say that. However, Gen Z, which is joining the workforce, and we have, being a tech company, lots, more than 20% coming in from Gen Z. They're already coming in with a capability to actually work with these new tools or AI tools. It's very productive for them, actually. I personally feel that I think this is the best which can happen. Young mind looking for more ideas, and here is an idea, and then they are able to collaborate and co-create with it, right? So I think this is very good combination. Organizations are struggling, definitely. How do they make the best use of these two combinations? One, Gen Z, which is really wanting to explore more, is not stable to stay longer within the organization, and AI, which is exposing data to make it even more complex, right? So these two combination is a task. I think it will evolve. However, lots and lots of training are being undertaken to actually skill up towards this new tool. So when phone came with multiple apps, all of us skilled up ourselves to utilize. We still don't use many functions, but at least we are more than the phone call and the messages, right? So I think it's a matter of leveling up, skilling up, which will continue to happen. Coming back to ethics, which is very complex topic, on what to share, how much to use, how much not to use, how to contextualize, I think that's a subjective area which will continue to be more and more refined with the context of usage. I would say that is what will bring, and the norms which government is bringing in. Look at the GDPR which is coming in, the government policy around what can be done, what should not be done. Organizations are bringing in policy, what you can share, not share, will define the boundary about ethics of these kind of collaboration as well.
You know, I just add on to it. There's a macro environment in which, you know, the educational institutions, postgraduate colleges and everything, they're all equipped for the future. They're teaching all of these things, and they're also professional programs for people who are already working as well. So they are getting equipped, you know, that ways. You know, talking about the point which you mentioned about, you know, how do you make sure that the sanctity of the brand is there? That's up to the brand. That's a brand guideline, right? So it has that cultural bias, which is obviously there. You can't leave everything to AI. You need to augment it probably with, say, a brand which you've defined for yourself, and let it keep in that ecosystem. I think that's how brands are driving it currently as well, and will remain in the future. Great.
So actually it was more Nimish, the way you said that more the creators will be evolved through the AI. So there the element that if machines are taking a dominance in that part, how will the ethical standards which discussed are going to come?
Sir, we'll have to see. I wouldn't know, honestly. We both will be together to see what's happening. It's a new playing field. A lot of the stuff would happen, ethical framework, liability on the company, the legal things. I think all of that is evolving.
Great. Thank you so much, everybody. We've already exceeded our time by 10 minutes, but I think it was a great discussion. Thank you so much.